Hi there, welcome to another Friday Findings video. In a previous video, I told you all about Kumihimo braiding, the basics. Today we're going to have even more fun with Kumihimo braiding, and I'm going to show you how to add beads. Now this is an example of just plain Kumihimo braiding, and it's done with just pieces of crochet cotton. This is the exact same technique, exact same kind of braid, only this is done with chenille yarns. And while I think Kumihimo done with just plain fiber is interesting, where I think it really gets exciting is when we add beads. This is a necklace cord that I made with just large seed beads. This bracelet is made with an ombre of much larger beads, and this piece is made with a combination of pearls and floral and leaf beads, and it's very interesting. So you can see the possibilities are endless. Today I'm going to show you how to add beads to your Kumihimo. So if you're unfamiliar with the process, go back and watch this video right here. You can click on it. Go back and watch this video and learn the basics, and then come back and watch how to add beads. So if you're going to do Kumihimo braiding with beads, a good fiber to use to string on your beads and do your braid is this stuff. It's called S-Lawn, and if you purchase your Kumihimo disc and your bobbins in a craft store, it will usually be right next to it. It's number 18 twisted nylon monofilament. Here, I'll show you the packaging, and I'll have links to these products on the blog post that accompanies this video. But this stuff is very strong, and it's going to hold your beads securely. So I'm going to make a bracelet today, and I've cut 4 18-inch pieces of S-Lawn. And in another video I will talk about the size of beads and getting bead counts right, but suffice it to say that for my bracelet today I'm going to put 90 beads of these number 6 seed beads on each of my 4 pieces of S-Lawn. And what you do to start is you slide a bead on and you just give it a single tie and pull it, and that's a stopper. Now I've already started this end and I have half of my beads on. I have 45 beads plus the stopper, and I'm going to just mark this midway point of my beads with just a bead bug. This will just help me save a little counting later. Now for stringing the beads, one of the best tools you can use is one of these. It's called a big eye needle, and it's basically like a needle threader. You remember how you've seen those wires that you split open and then you can put your thread in? And that's what this is. It's just a needle that's basically all eye, and you just poke your thread through and then start stringing on your beads, just like this, until you have the number you need, and then add another bead stopper at the end. So now you can see that I've got half of my beads on each end of my S-Lawn cord with a stopper at each end, and I don't need this anymore. And I've made 3 other cords the same way. And remember that your cord is twice the length that you need, because you'll be folding it in half to make your 8 beading pieces. So now it's just a matter of putting these on our disc in the exact same way that you would if you were just using plain cord. So we're going to find the center point of all of our cords and then just tie a small scrap of cord right at that point. And then what I like to do is I'm going to tuck this through the center of my braiding disc, and then I'm going to clamp on a bulldog clip. This just gives it some weight and helps keep it feeding through the disc nicely as you add your beads. And then we set this up the exact same way you would for plain weaving, just putting 1 cord on either side of each of the large dots that's on your board. And if you have different color beads and you want a particular pattern, now would be the time to plan that. I'm going to just let them be random, however they decide to be. So there's one cord on either side of each of the large dots. Now, as I've told you in the previous video, you can't just have all these hanging down because they will tangle. So you need these bobbins. And the way you add the bobbins is just wrap a little bit of the cord without beads, and then add a few beads, a little bit more cord without beads, add a few beads, and keep going, and leave maybe 6 or 8 beads dangling out each side. And you do that for each one of your bobbins. So here I have my disc all set up with my bead strands all wound onto bobbins. And I have 2 different colors of beads, but you can do whatever you like. And now we're going to start braiding. Now when you start braiding with beads, you want to do about 1/4 of an inch without beads. And that will give you something to finish with, to put your bead caps into. So we're just going to start the same way we did with plain Kumihimo, and that's the left. The one on the bottom left goes to the top left, and the one on the top right goes down to the bottom right. 1/4 turn counterclockwise and repeat. The left goes up, the right goes down, 1/4 turn. And you just want to keep going until you have about 1/2 of an inch of cord braided on the underside. It'll be feeding out from here. So I don't know if you can see that, but I have here about 1/2 an inch that's been braided without any beads. So now I'm going to add my beads. And you do it the same way. The one that's on the left goes up, except I'm going to use my thumb to pop out a bead. And the bead is just going to go right under the first cord that you're going to cross over. You just want to pop it right under there. Let me zoom in for you so you can see that. I'm just going to use my finger to pop it so that it's hooked, so that when the cord comes around to go in the upper slot, that bead is now caught. And then we'll do the same thing on the other side. We're just going to add our beads one at a time, so that pops right under that cord that we're going to wrap over, and then the right one goes down, and then 1/4 turn. And one more time, pop it out, pop up a bead, tuck it under, put it in the upper slot, pop out a bead, just one, tuck it under, and go in the other slot. Let me zoom out so that you can see that a little bit more smoothly. I know the trickiest part for me when I first did this was understanding where you were supposed to put the bead. So we're going to pop out a bead, tuck it under, in the upper slot, pop out a bead on the right, tuck it under, and put it in the bottom slot, and turn. And that's all there is to it. So you can see that the beaded Kumihimo is definitely going to be a bit more time consuming than just the plain Kumihimo on account of having to pull out a bead in every single wrap. But in my opinion, that's what makes Kumihimo worth taking the time, is seeing how it looks with the beads added. And you just carry on the exact same way. And when you get to the end, you're going to end just like you began, with 1 inch to 1/4 inch of braiding without any beads. And in another video coming up soon, I will show you how to finish off your Kumihimo braiding and give you some tips on patterns and bead count and all those details. So now I'm back. It's taken a little while, but here is my finished braid. with, as you can see, the unbeaded ends on both sides for finishing. Thanks so much for watching. If you like this video, please make sure you've subscribed to my YouTube channel so you'll see more like it. And also, check out the other 2 jewelry making videos up on the screen. And check out my blog, keepsakecrafts.net, where I have lots more creative ideas and inspiration. Thanks for watching. Happy creating. Bye-bye.